Welcome back to my channel, fellow gardeners. Today I want to talk about the snake plant, and I have so many different varieties I actually do collect. So this one here is a more cylindrical one. I have this variegated one. I have an opposite variegation, and then I have these dwarf snake plants. Now the thing is that what we're going to discuss today, and also what I'd love to show you, is how do you propagate these lovely dwarf snake plants, and that's what we're doing today. So welcome back to my channel. My name is Alice and I'm the Red Soil Gardener. So welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about the snake plant, and also what I'm going to do is not talk about these tall ones because we've already done an episode on propagation using the stem. But what I'd like to introduce to you is actually these small snake plants, and they're known as the bird's nest. Now, why are they called the bird's nest? Is that they grow in rosettas, and look at that. And basically, is they say that the shape of the bird's nest actually resembles the rosetta of the snake plant. Now, the thing about snake plants is that now we understand that they have been moved from sansevieras to dracaenas, and that is okay with us. We'll just go ahead and propagate our plants and create multitudes of snake plants. Now, when we look at snake plants, is that basically it is great for beginners. Now, I was looking at the ticks and thinking, why is it great for beginners? It's easy to manage. You can actually propagate it very easily too. It's low maintenance, and also it's easy care, and it doesn't really require so much water. So basically, if you are sort of a person who's just got an apartment, started working, and a lot of the times you're out of the apartment, a snake plant will be excellent for you because you don't have to worry about it. For travelers, if you travel a lot, snake plants don't require that much water, so they would be actually ideal for any person to have as an indoor plant. So what sort of light does a snake plant thrive in? Now, basically, I would say is that before I had this illusion that snake plants really wanted full sun. But what I've understood, because I did put a snake plant out when I got really excited and put it in full sun, and I found that the leaves do get scorched. So what I try to do is either have the snake plant in morning light and not that aggressive afternoon sun. But if you do have it, what is ideal for it is indirect light. So basically it's a more filtered light, but the sun does still come through, and they do thrive in that sort of environment. Now, so we understand that they do thrive in indirect light. Now, what happens is that if you do end up putting your snake plant in shade, it does grow tall and lanky, and these leaves will just flop. And the thing is that if you do have variegation, as we have here or here, is that what happens with a snake plant, when you do put it in shade, you may lose your variegation, or even the patterns on the leaf actually start fading, so they're not so dramatic as you look at them. So what sort of soil are we talking about? We're talking about a really good, well-draining soil. Maybe get a cactus mix, but basically just a really good cactus soil and really good draining, because the thing is with our snake plants is that they don't want to have water on their feet, and because of root rot. So do keep them really well draining soil. You make sure you have your drainage holes and let the water just seep right through. Now, basically is that when you do, what is the water requirement? Again, as we said, well-drained soil, let the water seep through, but also make sure that as the water seeps through, is that your soil does remain moist. Because what happens is that if you do take a soil, let's do it like this, and let the water seep through, if you're going to water it, this is a cactus mix, and you let that water drain through, what happens is the water does drain through and you'll see it here, but when you do open it here, you find that there's actually, it just went through and the soil is still dry. So that's why we always do recommend let the water run through for the first time, like that, and see it running through. In that way, you prevent root rot if the plant is to sit there. And then the last thing you do is a second one where you actually let it drain through, and then the soil is totally moist and you don't get dry patches where the water didn't actually touch. So with a snake plant, I would actually recommend run it down 2 times, and then after that, let it dry out for the next feed. And you may wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks, depending on the climate that you're at. But this is the perfect, again, environment for it. Now, the thing is that when you do a propagation, I usually do my propagations and use a plastic pot, because even if I am doing a snake plant and it is a succulent, I find that once you do have a plastic pot, it sort of contains the moisture and for the plant to be able to propagate. Now, what I find that with snake plants, once they do, once you've moved into a bigger pot and finally it's home, a bigger pot, is I prefer to have your snake plants in clay terracotta pots, only because for those who get addicted to overwatering, which we all do as gardeners, is once you do have a terracotta pot, especially for a succulent, water it early in the morning, and as the day goes, as the plant goes through the day, what happens is that with terracotta pots, they do breathe, so you will lose moisture, and this is actually works out ideal for the snake plants or for other succulents. Is that basically is you've watered your plant and the pot is breathing, and in that way the water doesn't sit there near the roots, which snake plants don't like. So now when we look at a snake plant, you have it in your apartment, and if you're in Europe during the winter season, you may have your heater on and you may think, oh, let me try to mist the plant. But snake plants don't require misting, by the way, because what happens is that if you do mist your plant, is that you could go into these crevices and do get like a fungal infection. So I think these could work really well without the misting. Pests, what do they have? I did get some scale, and I must say I spent a whole afternoon nursing this one and removing them. But you may even get a mealybug infestation, or you could get spider mites are actually quite attracted to the snake plant. And you'll always, if you do check your plant, always check them at the underside, because that's where, as we know, mealybugs, aphids actually hide. Now, if you do get an infestation, all you have to do, I think, is get your neem oil and do your mixture of neem and spray it if it's spider mites or mealybugs. If it's things like scale, I would just get water with a bit of washing up liquid and mix it, and then systematically I just take it and then run it through and collect all the scales. So now what we're doing is a propagation of our bird's nest. Now, I had actually got these bird's nests during my crazy snake plant time, and as this particular one, I think they call it the honey, is that as it started producing its pups, I actually propagated 2 of these, and again in a terracotta pot, but I gave one to my daughter and I kept this one. And then the other day I thought, why don't I try these ones, because it is getting quite congested. So I did pull it out of its pot, and then decided I have these here, and why don't we look at propagation? Now, propagating a succulent like our snake plant, you have two methods. The first one is actually by division. As you see, what happens is that all these little pups are actually joined together on a rhizome, and that's your rhizome here. And all these little pups, and this is a really good example, come from the mother rhizome, and like this is another one, another pup, it's come from this one. And this is what you do when you have to divide it, is what you simply do is actually just snip it off from the mother like that and make sure you have some rooting. And so what I did yesterday is I did snip these ones, some of them off this mother. And again, I am just going to simply snip it. And then I have this one and I have that one, this one. But always as you snip, make sure you do have rooting. So I have actually prepared my potting mix, which is a succulent potting mix. I've let the water run through it. So all I'm simply going to do for a bird's nest propagation is after I've snipped it, I'm just going to put it in the soil. That's it. Just like that. And why I did snip it yesterday is I did let it have time to callus, which is very important. And if you see the wound that I'd actually snipped, it's dry and it's formed like a hard surface. And callusing is actually, it's really good because it basically closes the wound and then you won't get some sort of infection going there. It's a bit like us humans, is that once you have an open sore, you have to let it dry out in order not to get another infection. So that's what callus does. So I am going to actually just go in here and submerge this one. Like that. So basically is just go through it and just put your little lovely bird nest snake plant in here. And I suppose in a way is when you look at it, you can come up and think, I'll make two here, one here, and just have your own design. So I'm just going to put another one in here. Okay. So I have one snake, two of the babies there. I've decided to put one here, and for the final one I'm going to put that big one in here. Put it in here, perfect. This is good. So what I've done here is out of that mama plant here, I have actually got 4 there. Another way of propagation is actually to use the leaf stem. And we've done this before for the propagation, is you simply get your leaf like that. I've got 2 leaves. And all I do is I go to the end of its, where it joins the mother, the bottom bit of the leaf, and then just 1 minute, and I just snip that off like that. Then I will do the same thing here, go here, and at the bottom of it, I will just simply snip that off. Now what happens is, I did do a leaf propagation, and I felt quite confident in doing, because the first time I did do a leaf propagation, I got scared that I wasn't sure whether it was going to work. But now that I've become more confident, so what I did is I took this one, cut up my leaf exactly the same way, and look what we have here is a little snake plant bird nest is producing its own pup from its leaf. So you have one pup here and you have another pup forming here. And that's how you do a snake plant propagation using the leaf. So let me return our little baby back in here, just like that. Really happy with that propagation. There we go. And it will continue actually producing quite a lot of pups. So with these ones, as I wait, is all I do is take your leaf and go to the bottom, snip it, and I'm just going to add it in here, just like this, just like that, and cover it. That's it. And it will soon also cut it here. It'll soon also produce its own pups, and I'll have a multitude of pups, just like that. So in this demonstration, we're going to do exactly like what I did with this one, is just do a leaf propagation and wait for your pups. So thank you so much, fellow gardeners. Don't forget to go and get yourself a plant, a snake plant. You can get these dwarf ones, which are actually so beautiful. Don't forget, we are on YouTube. Do check our channels there. I have done playlists to make it easier for you to access some of the past episodes that we did. So do have a look there. And second thing is, do subscribe and do press that notification button so you'll always be notified when we do upload. We do upload our episodes every Thursday, and do be there to watch it. We're on Instagram. Check out my Instagram. I post a lot of things, my flowers, my dogs, or my daily routine. And don't forget to leave me comments either on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, or on Instagram. I'm always there to help out and to answer. So, fellow gardeners, don't forget to also invite your friends and your families to check out our YouTube channel. And I'd love to thank all of you, those who've been supporting us over the years. And we are very, very appreciative. And do give me, or continue giving me, encouragement and support so that this channel can continue. So, bye.